Hi everyone, Elle Hackney here, and welcome back to another YouTube interview where I get to speak to authors, illustrators, podcasters, book professionals, book reviewers, anything to do with the book world. And today I have an amazing guest. Not only is he a mental health nurse, but he's a self-published author and an award-winning author at that as well. Please welcome Calum Greenall. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thank you for having me, Lauren. I appreciate it.
Now, I know I gave a 20-second summary of yourself, but I would love to hear a bit more. So why don't you tell us about yourself?
No, that 20 seconds is pretty accurate, but yeah. So, yeah, I was born in England, moved over to Australia 5 years ago. Yeah, I'm a mental health nurse. Enjoy a lot of sport and craft beer and pizza, usual stuff. And then I've got a son who's 4.5 now, and a daughter who's just turned 1. But when my son was born, we started reading lots and lots of picture books, and that's kind of started me on this journey. So yeah, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing this.
Now, so tell me, you self-published a picture book. I would love to hear how you started, and also, I guess, pros and cons for you being self-published.
Yeah, no worries. So my we were reading picture books one night with my son, and we kind of like I won't say bad, a naff, just not a very good one from the library. My wife kind of said, "I bet you could do better than that," and I'm just very competitive, and that kind of set me off going. And from there, I've really fallen in love with, especially picture books, kind of the simplicity, but how hard it is to get that simplicity right. So yeah, I fall in love with that, and I came up with this concept of um, a really wholesome children's picture book. There's a lot of picture books at the moment, which I really enjoy. I love them all about farts and unicorns and everything. But just like it's a bit like old school throwback wholesome picture book, really. So I've got an idea for a series of 4. I've got the first one now. I looked at traditional publishing. That was like my first thing, but to be honest, I was so naive like a few years ago about the whole thing and easily overwhelmed by everything. But like, the more I looked into it, I was like, what, like 1%, just 1% will get picked up, and it doesn't have to even be like anything wrong with your manuscript. It can just be another reason. So yeah, and then someone mentioned to me that you can self-publish, and um, I looked into that and came across a company based over in Sydney called New South Wales called Old Mate Media, and they were really helpful. They've been brilliant. They okay, give them the manuscript, they do a bit of editing, and they help me then get all uploaded onto Amazon and manage all that side of stuff, which is really helpful. I mean, I would have probably liked to learn how to do it all by myself and completely do it completely self-published, but I just don't have the time with like a family and a full-time job. It's so kind of picky battles, I suppose. Yeah.
But it is such a juggle. I totally get where you're coming from there, because my Lolly Shop series that I wrote, illustrated, and
Which is
published
great,
with
by the
my
way.
children. Oh, thank you. But I understand, because when you are self-published, it's up to you to go to every bookstore and go to every
Yeah.
school, and the hustle is huge. But like, I don't know about yourself, but I found it to be incredibly rewarding, because you do learn
Yes.
how hard it truly is to get your books and get your names out there. What's the best feedback you've heard from a child who's read your stories?
Oh, good one. Yeah. So in my first book, Sam Stormy Night, it ends with him making a big pie to thank all his friends because he didn't really know how to say thank you. So he makes them all a pie to make everything better. And one of my friends sent me a message to say that their daughter, sorry, their son, they had to stop reading it to him at night because his son kept on asking for food because the pie made him hungry. So I was like, well, if I've got him that, hooked him in that well, that's a good review. I like that.
I think that son's got actually a good taste, because lying in bed with a book and a slice of apple pie don't sound too terrible,
Yeah,
really.
exactly. It's the good life. And the parents like, no, we can't do that. You
No, that's excellent feedback. I love picture books because, if anything, they're the first memories we have of reading. I know my first
Yeah.
earliest memories are the Bear Stained Bears and the Grug series. What's your picture book memory there, Callum?
Uh, my I have really distinct memories of Mr. Men books. So
Yeah.
yeah, there used to be this shop in England called Reedman's, and it was just kind of an outlet shop. But we used to go there like once a month, I think, with the family, and they used to sell them individually, the little like the Mr. Men books, and they'd be like 59p or 69p or something like that. And we built it up, so now we've got the whole collection with it saying "My Mr. Men Library" on the spine with like the picture, and then a little Mr. Men Christmas one at the end. But unbeknownst to me, my parents held on to them. So when my little man was born, they gave the box to us. Well, it's not even a box set; they're just loose. So now we've got the full Mr. Men library collection that I read growing up. Now reading with him, which is really cool. And
Who's
yeah.
your favorite?
Oh, Mr. Uppity, I think.
And
Yeah.
who's your son's favorite?
Oh yeah, Mr. Tickle every time.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Number
Oh,
one.
every time.
Yeah, or Mr. Bump. He did enjoy Mr. Bump. Yeah, any of the silly ones.
So with your writing journeys, I love sort of where you've landed with this because you are award winning as well, which is sometimes really tough for a self-published author to sort of break those molds and
Mm.
win those big awards, which I think is fantastic. Where do you find your inspiration for your stories?
Oh, I think at first I just tried to think of an animal that was lovable but not too common. So like, there's lots of like dogs and cats and stories like that. And I kind of came up with Barry the beaver as like the first character, and then kind of extrapolated from there. Extrapolated. One of those. Went out from there. But now it just comes from anything. Like the silliest little things to just hearing words and thinking, "Ooh, they rhyme. That'll be work together." Sometimes just come up with a title. I do like wordplay, so anything that kind of works like that is always catch my eye. But it could be sometimes like we were on holiday earlier in the year, and we are driving down the road, and then there was a car parked up by the side of us, and um, I think the owner wasn't in the car, but there was a dog with the windows open. It was all fine. A dog in the car, but from where we were, it looked like the dog was sitting in the driver's seat. It
Oh,
looked like the dog was driving, and my son was like, "Oh, look, there's a dog driving the car." And I thought, well, that gave me kind of inspiration to think about a book that might be like you keep seeing different animals, and they keep getting increasingly ridiculous in size and nature and stuff until you get to the point where no, of course, dogs don't drive.
what does your son think of your stories?
Hit and miss. Hit and miss. Sometimes he will enjoy them. Sometimes be like, no, I don't want to read them tonight, because he'll have like some other authors ones that are completely awesome, like or just superhero books. He'd much rather prefer that anyway. But generally, he does like them.
I love how awesome children, I mean, honest, sorry,
Yeah, yeah,
children are awesome too. But I love how honest they are because you soon know if you're on a winner or not with a story with a child. Because
yeah.
if they walk away within 10 seconds, you know, it's not going
Yeah, and
too well.
often when I'm reading to it's like my books, it will be there's no illustrations yet. It will just be like what I put in a Word document, and to hold his attention when it's just a story. If I can get through the whole story and he's not running off to do something else, I'm like, okay, that one's a winner. That's gonna be all
That's a
right.
win.
Yeah,
Run with
yeah,
that one.
yeah. If it's just the text and he gets to the end, then it's all right. Yeah,
And does he like to make up his own stories?
he is. He does. So, what I started doing, I think last year, was I started doing something on Instagram that I call Ramble Rhymes. They're just like
Yes.
short, like three or
Yes.
four standards. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
seen
I've
them.
seen those. Yeah.
And they're just nonsensical, just unrelated little snippets of whatever's going through my mind at the time. And the idea was to just keep my like creative juices flowing and just keep it going. It was actually on your podcast YouTube channel that I got the inspiration. Sean Avery interview he did, and he was talking about like approaching things as a bit like as an athlete would in training and that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, that makes sense. Yeah, if like I was a rugby player, I'd be going to the gym 3 times a week, 4 times a week. So I was like, I should be like keeping my mind active. So I started doing them. I always play those to my son, and he will always try and add on a little line at the end. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's nonsense. But he really enjoys the idea of like being able to record something and make up his little story at the end. Yeah,
See, I
definitely.
love so much about what you said just now, because I think encouraging children to read and bend their imagination and work that imagination muscle, because
Yeah,
you creating stories and publishing stories is well on his radar. So he definitely knows that's an option. So to encourage that, but then to take on advice from other authors like Sean Avery, who really they treat this like a sport, or anything you want to get good at, like you're training, you're there, you're getting better. So there's so many good things you're doing as well, not just for yourself but for your children, because you're also showing them you put in the work. You treat this like anything you're going to take on. It's training, it's getting better, it's getting to that next step. And it's very holistic. So I think that's fantastic what you're doing
yeah.
with
Thank
your
you. I
journey.
don't think I'd have the patience to do what you did with your children, to write a book with them, like the whole book with them. I would be flipping out before page 3, I think. But just those snippets, I'm all right. So kudos
Lockdown
to you
made
for
us
managing
do
that.
crazy things, Calum. You could not leave me. So tell me, what's in your future?
So I've got the second in my series of Bumblebrook books. So the first was Sam Stormy Night. It's been out for I guess nearly 2 years now. Yeah, a year and a half. And then the second one is coming out on the 2nd of April. And I'm doing an official book launch for that for the first time, which I'm really excited about, at the State Library in WA. So that's going to be, it feels like a big deal. It feels very um, genuine, like it gives it accreditation in my mind. That feels like a real thing. Because I guess with self-publishing, you do get that imposter syndrome where it's not in Kmart or Big W or something. So like in the big bookshops, there, it'd be nice to do that. And then I've got a sneaky like secretive project that I'm working on where someone's approached me to kind of like ghostwrite a book for them, and it's someone that I've been like a fan of for a very, very, very long time. So if that comes through into fruition, it seems like that's going to be really exciting this year. So hopefully, I just can't say anything. So sorry, I'm just going to have to leave a little teaser there.
Yeah,
But
no, I understand that one, but you're ghostwriting now. So tell me about that.
oh, it's been a new experience because instead of having to like think of all the ideas, this person came to me with, it'd be good if we could do this, and have these parameters on it. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, and then I've got to make it work into a rhyming book and kind of like fit it all together. And then I think I've got a good manuscript written, and then put it back to them, and they say, oh yeah, I like this, but we could change this or add this. Is that yeah, okay, yep. Let's do that. So yeah, it was a whole new way of writing, but in a sense, it was quite refreshing to like have someone else throw some ideas at you, and you can make them work rather than the other way around. It was often the struggle to come up with the ideas. So to have that kind of pitch to me was cool. But yeah, I think we've settled on the final manuscript now, which is exciting. And then we're just working on yeah, the next step of illustration. I think we're going to try and self-publish that one as well, which is exciting. And then in the background, I'm also trying to get traditionally published as well. So I'm writing kind of other picture book stories, and I've written one chapter book, but it is on the short side. But yeah, I really like it. Superhero dinosaurs.
So do you find, because you've self-published, you've won awards for that, you've put in the hard yards, and now you're getting an opportunity, someone approached you to ghostwrite, do you feel, for authors out there who are starting out, do you feel self-publishing is maybe a secret benefit because you're showing publishers that you can do it? Do you feel that that's been something that is a
Yeah,
positive for you?
I think it is. At first, I really wasn't sure. Well, no, not at first, but when I started getting more serious about trying to get published traditionally as well, it became a worry that people would see us self-publishing, like, well, he's done that because he's not good enough. That was always in the back of my mind. And then I actually had a really settling bit of advice from what's his name, James Layton of Larrikin House. There
Yep.
was I did like a pitch it party with them, and there was open questions at the end. So like, I've asked like if you knew the person was self-published, would it change anything about the thing? And his answer was really refreshing. He just kind of said, um, if the manuscript is good enough, it doesn't matter. I was like, well, yeah, there you answer. Like, if it isn't good enough, it doesn't matter. If it is good enough, it doesn't matter that you self-publish. Actually, if you're willing to like, if you can show that you're still willing to like change, you've not just done it because you're kind of in a bit hard-minded. If you're like showing that there's growth, then it's a like a double down positive, really.
And see, I can completely resonate with that, because with my Lolly Shop manuscript, I did submit it to some publishers and I got knocked back by
Mm.
so many, but except for one who wanted to change the story so greatly it no longer was our story. And I sort of went,
Yeah, there's a
I
fine
can't do
line.
that to my boys. Yeah, I can't change what they
Yeah,
thought of at bedtime. And I get what you mean when you say, oh, I self-published it. Some people's automatic reactions are, oh, it's not that, oh, it's not that great. Like, because
yeah,
everyone just assumes. But if I've also learned anything talking to so many people in the industry, is that you can have the best manuscript and it's timing, or the market's flooded enough with that, or it's the print
yeah,
run's already maxed out, or budgeting. So many reasons for a no.
exactly.
So we need to change that, I
And
think.
I thought that with this, the Sam Stormy Night and Barry's Broken Dam, which is coming out, they are just kind of very innocently wholesome stories about friendship and teamwork. And I feel like to get published at the moment, like your story needs an edge to it, whether it be like a comedy edge or kind of be breaking down stereotypes and stuff. But I kind of
Yeah,
really
Sam and the
fell in love with like
Stormy.
the early kind of
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh and like the Mr. Men that are just kind of innocent little stories. So I thought the chances of that beating these other ones that, yeah, the marketability probably wasn't there for the publishers, but yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you actually,
it's a
because
nightmare out there.
it is. And Sam's Story Night, like, I think it's perfect the way it is, because like you said, it is wholesome, but Sam and the Story Night with the loose cannon doesn't go quite well, like
Yeah.
like to change it just to satisfy current trends, that's a bit disappointing. So I'm glad you did publish it the way it is.
Yeah, and my illustrator is a friend of mine as well, so it was really good to be able to. And it was her first time illustrating a book, so together we've kind of been on this journey, and now we're doing our second one together. So yeah, it's been nice to do that. Whereas otherwise, he kind of didn't really get a choice in the matter, so that was nice as well.
No, that's fantastic. So Callum, you are local in Western Australia. So
Yeah,
are you open for school visits, library visits, and kindergarten visits?
yes, absolutely. I did my first school visit last year, and it was a blast. It was really good. Yeah, I did a day with like half an hour with each of the classes on their book week for their book week day. And it was really, that was probably one of the best days I've had, where I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. This is it. This is
Yeah,
really cool.
this is it. And so
Yeah.
are you available for Zoom school visits for those who aren't in WA?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't say no. It's a bit awkward. Yeah, I think one-to-one chats on Zoom are good, but I think when it's the delay and stuff, it would make it a bit difficult. But yeah, self-publish, you got to spread your name somehow.
That's exactly right. So,
Yeah.
any schools, libraries, kindergartens out there, Calum Greenall is quite an entertaining author who's extremely open to teaching all kids about reading and self-publishing, creating their own stories. He loves to promote imagination, children growing their imagination muscle. Calum, if anyone wants to contact you today, how can they find you?
The best way is on Instagram. It's callum.greenall. And it's the same for Facebook, but I use Instagram mostly. Yeah, send in follow the page, send a direct message, and keep in touch with everything going on with my journey there.
Excellent. And for everyone out there, I would love it if you jumped onto Calum's socials, gave him a follow, checked out all his content because his rhymes are so much fun. Please also check out his books because they're such a beautiful read as well. And we
I think
want to
10
make
copies
sure,
each is probably a really good amount. If everyone just
yeah,
buys 10
just
copies.
to begin with, to begin with. Because we want to make sure that Calum sticks around to keep promoting imagination. So thank you so much for chatting with me today, Calum. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Lauren. Congratulations on everything you're doing with the YouTube channel. It's great.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.